Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPM Videos. When you think of the Disney theme parks, fun, bright, happy images probably fill your mind. But the happiest place on Earth has a dark side. Over the decades, many urban legends and myths have been passed around. But what's fact and what's fiction? Do some grim-grinning ghosts actually come out to socialize at Disneyland? Is Pirates of the Caribbean home to real skeleton remains? And what really happened to Walt Disney? Cause some say he can be found at the theme parks, and we aren't talking about the partner statue. Well, it's time to get a little spooky and get to the bottom of all of this as we count down the top 7 Disney urban legends and secrets. Number 7. One attraction at Walt Disney World that's said to be home to real ghostly spirits is Pirates of the Caribbean. Back in the 70s, while the ride was being built, a welder by the name of George died inside while working on the ride. Some say he was crushed and others say he fell. Either way, the urban legend is that the ride is haunted by this construction worker. No one has ever seen George in person, but it's said cast members have heard mysterious footsteps, gotten phone calls from an empty control room, and have seen him show up on the ride monitors. Apparently, the burning town scene is where George's spirit lurks. Guests have said to feel a chill around this part of the ride, but in general, I always find Pirates a little extra chilly. Don't you? Now, apparently George is a nice ghost who just wants to be acknowledged, but he has been known to show his mischievous side. At the beginning of each shift, the cast members say good morning to George over the PA, and at the end of the day while powering down, they also wish him a good night. This isn't a rule mandated by Disney, but a lot of cast members have kept the tradition going. If they forget to say good morning or good night to George, it's said the ride will encounter problems and could break down or malfunction.
Attention, your voyage has been temporarily delayed. Please remain seated in your boat as it may begin moving at any time.
This ride is weird with the lights on.
Could this be the real reason behind some of those animatronic malfunctions we've shown? Who knows? It's also believed that if guests say they don't believe in George while they're on the ride, they'll experience an extended breakdown. Now, who knows if all this is really true, but have you ever encountered George on Pirates of the Caribbean? Let me know below. Number 6. A popular Disney urban legend is that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen and is buried under certain locations at Disneyland. The most common location talked about is under Pirates of the Caribbean. Another is under the partner statue, and beneath Sleeping Beauty Castle has also been brought up. It was even rumored that his frozen body, or some stories even say his head, was dug up from California and shipped to Florida to be placed under Cinderella Castle. Well, we can put your mind at ease because none of this is true and the urban legends are completely false. Walt was never frozen in any way and is not buried under anything at any Disney theme park.
That's right.
When Walt passed away on December 6, 1966, he was cremated just a couple days later. January 12, 1967 was the first time someone was cryogenically frozen, and it wasn't Walt Disney. So how did this story gain steam? Well, it all started back in 1969, when the rumor was first briefly mentioned in a French magazine called Ici Paris. Then in 1972, the president of the Cryonics Society of California spoke with the LA Times. He said Walt Disney showed interest in being frozen, but he did confirm he wasn't actually frozen. He said, "The truth is, Walt missed out. He never specified it in writing." Disney's family denied that even this quote was true, and Walt's daughter Diane said, "There is absolutely no truth to the rumor that my father, Walt Disney, wished to be frozen. I doubt that my father had ever heard of cryonics." Over the years, the legend has continued to spread, and a lot of people still really want to believe it's true. Walt was a legendary man, and I don't know about you, but I'm glad there's no frozen bodies buried at Disney, whether it's Walt's body or not. Number 5. Over 10 years ago, you may have remembered footage of ghosts at Disneyland surfacing online. These were some chilling images. They included a ghost being caught on top of the castle during fireworks, a ghost known as Mr. One-Way getting into a Space Mountain train, 2 separate ghosts caught during a maintenance check on Tower of Terror, one ghost by the Snow White Fountain, and the most mind-blowing, this multi-angle security cam footage at Haunted Mansion. This is proof that these ghosts actually exist, right? I mean, it has to be. Well, 2020 has been full of many surprises where literally anything can happen, including debunking the ghost sighting videos, and it turns out they were just a marketing ploy for Disneyland. Back in June of 2020, writer and director Christopher Cantwell tweeted that he worked for Disney creating videos for a variety of different departments. This included creating these ghost videos. Filmed over the course of one full night, they dressed a stuntman in white, then layered him over the clean footage with visual effects. This gave us the Disneyland ghost sightings. The firework ghost was placed on a crane behind the castle, and they shot the Haunted Mansion ghost from the roof of Pirates. I mean, these videos are pretty convincing, especially how the Space Mountain and Haunted Mansion footage was released as if a cast member was just filming the surveillance cameras. It's really clever. The first time I saw these videos years ago, they gave me chills. And even though they've been debunked, they're still convincing enough to give you a little spook. These ghosts might not be real, but maybe just one day someone will catch a real ghost on camera at Disneyland. Number 4. It's commonly known that Walt had a small 500 square foot apartment on the second floor of the firehouse over at Disneyland. On top of the garage, you'll see a window, and through the glass, you'll notice a lamp, and it's actually kept on every single day. You see, when Walt Disney would stay in the apartment, he used to turn this light on, and it became a way to let guests and cast members know that he was in the park. The common story told about the lamp is that after Walt passed away, they kept the light on to keep his presence alive. Well, there's an urban legend surrounding the lamp, which involves Walt Disney's ghost. Shortly after Walt passed, a custodial cast member was cleaning the apartment. She turned the lamp off, went down to the park, and then noticed it was still on. She thought she just forgot to turn it off, so she went back up, turned the light off, and when she went back down to the park, it was mysteriously on again. It's even said that when she went back into the apartment to turn the light off again, she actually saw the light turn on by itself and heard a voice say, "I'm still here." Since that day, they just chose to always keep the light on as a tribute to Walt. It's still believed that even to this day, Walt's spirit lives in the firehouse. Cast members have reported sounds of footsteps coming from the apartment, and even the curtains have moved on their own. Could the curtains moving be Walt Disney trying to get a closer look into the park? I guess we'll never know. Number 3. Now, we've talked about quite a few ghost stories so far, and since debunking the Disneyland ghost videos, the remainder of them remain urban legends. Well, if you want a dose of some hidden ghostly Disney magic, then you just need to head to the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. Just don't go too far, because these ghostly spirits gather outside once the sun goes down. The mansion windows are all illuminated, and in some of them you'll see the flicker of candlelight. If you keep a watchful eye, you may spot some ghosts lurking in the distance. Silhouettes of some of the 999 happy haunts walk by the windows from time to time, like right here. There's 4 different windows on the mansion where the ghosts are visible. I mean, these are gonna be the most confirmed ghost sightings you'll ever encounter at a Disney theme park. Number 2. Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean opened in March of 1967, and it was an immediate smash hit. At the beginning of the ride, you plunge into the grotto known as Dead Man's Cove, where you'll find a variety of scenes featuring pirate skeletons guarding their treasure. Well, in 1967, when the ride was built, Imagineers didn't think the fake skeletons at the time were convincing enough, so they purchased real ones from the UCLA Medical Center to use in the ride. As time went on, technology advanced and they began to replace the real skeletons with artificial props. It's said that all the skeletons were replaced, or at least that's the story they've gone with. The common urban legend and myth is that not all of the skeletons today are fake, and a real human skull can be found on Pirates of the Caribbean. The one that's commonly known as being real is the skull on the headboard in the treasure room. Here's the original skull taken in 1968 with the skull seen today beside it. When I overlay the two images, they do match up really well, and it even looks like this tooth here has begun to decay from its age. With its brownish color, it could very well be a sign of natural decay, especially when you compare it to the white color of the skeleton in the bed, which is currently known as being artificial. Now, according to an episode of the Ears Up podcast from 2013, one of their contacts at Disneyland said the skull isn't the only real piece of bone left over. As you make your way through Dead Man's Cove, the pirate on the right-hand side on the ground beside the crab is said to be made up of pieces from a few different real skeletons. The pirate standing up with the sword through his chest? Well, apparently he has parts of him that are still real, mainly his ribcage. You can see here how it's crushed, beginning to decay, and it looks like the bones are being held by metal wires. I would totally believe this ribcage was real because after countless refurbishments, Disney has had the opportunity to just replace this crumbling skeleton with another artificial piece. I'm sure the disposal of real bones would be a more complicated process, which could be why Disney has just kept them at this point. Countless people are convinced this urban legend of leftover skeletons on pirates is not true, but I don't know. Some of this evidence really makes sense. Now, what do you think? Number 1. The Haunted Mansion may be home to a lot more than the 999 happy haunts, and that's because it's the most popular place for people to sprinkle the ashes of loved ones. Now you might be saying you're kidding, right? No, this is a very real thing that happens almost once a month, or at least it's caught once a month by a cast member, but I'm sure there's many other instances where it goes unnoticed. For years, this was just believed to be an urban legend, but true confirmation came in 2018 when the Wall Street Journal published an article about this very subject. They spoke with guests who have sprinkled family members' ashes at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, plus former custodial cast members. Disney has many different cleanup codes, and the code for cremated ashes is a HEPA cleanup. In this case, a custodial cast member needs to vacuum up the ash residue with a HEPA filter, ensuring there's no threat to other guests. In the article from the Wall Street Journal, one Disneyland custodial cast member said, "The Haunted Mansion probably has so much human ashes in it, it's not even funny." Disney has come out to say that sprinkling ashes is strictly prohibited, and if you're caught, you will be escorted off the property. If this is something you thought of doing, you may want to give it a second thought. So, have you ever heard of any of these Disney urban legends and myths? What are your thoughts on them? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.